Hey everybody, thanks for joining me on this Django Reinhardt composition. It's Swing de Paris. Let's get started. This is a fun tune called Swing de Paris. Swing de Paris, right? It's kind of an interesting, it's really like a riff. It's a riff, which is what I want to go over first. Then I want to talk about the form, the soloing changes, and then I wrote out an etude where I demonstrated some ideas to discuss. Of course, we want to go over the chords, basic chords at least, too. Okay, so let me do the screen share. Here's Django's version of it, as I am getting the PDF loaded up here. Starts with that bass riff actually, but it's the same tune. Guitar and clarinet. Very kind of a bluesy little riff. Very bouncy. And that's it. That's the whole tune. So you just learn the song. Once you learn that riff, that's it. Then it's just chords and of course soloing, you know, similar to, well, definitely similar to minor swing. You know, there's that intro riff and then there's changes. So it's kind of in that vein where you have a melody that's written out and then that's it. And then you have soloing changes. Okay, so this is what I am looking at here. This is just pretty straightforward, but let's go over it note by note. And I wrote it out. Sometimes I play it up an octave, but I wrote it down low where Django's playing it for this arrangement. Think of it as off of a C chord. Okay, I'm just gonna walk you through it like really slowly. So we have this little C triad, and you wanna make it short, short, long. That's dealing with the articulation, especially if you're playing with an ensemble. You kind of want to make sure you play it, articulate it how they're playing it too. Okay, and that's kind of the bluesy enclosure there on measure 2. But right now, all downstrokes. So just nice and strong. Okay, so if everyone could just do that first. Think of it as just off of a C shape. And you can just kind of push into the string like this. You can just do this. All downstrokes again. Or you can kind of pick each note. Okay, experiment. You could even, you know, I know everybody has different picking techniques, so if you were to do the push into it, almost like a sweep, you just have to really let go of the pressure on your left hand so you get that short quality to it, the staccato. So it'd be like this. So it'd be like this. Okay, then on measure 2, that F. And there's a hammer, D sharp to E. That's the enclosure technique there. Very bluesy. Okay, then now you want to put a rest on 3, and then we have this riff, 3. And I would recommend that you actually practice it, connecting it to the next measure. So it's almost like a pickup note. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. And notice the hammer-ons and pull-offs, again, dealing with the articulation. On this part, notice the pull-off. C-A, pull-off, 3. And then get the low G. And then I would recommend going back to C. I would practice just that part to get the timing and the feel. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. mean? Kind of just, it's a little swingy riff. So I would recommend practicing that 1, 2, 3. And that was a pull off, 3. So it's 1, 2, 3. Okay, and that's it. Let's just practice those 2 measures. It's gonna sound like this. Like this. Sound like this. If you have it, try it up high. You know, be able to play it anywhere. Play a harmony. Okay, so, but here it is again. As written, we want to do that once. It's a 2-bar phrase, so we want to do it once, twice, 3 times. And then that's it. And then we have this bass, descending bass figure. Sounds like it wants to go to G, but it stops on the A. You know, it sounds like this. But it doesn't go to G. On a couple other recordings, there's like an arpeggio. But not on this 1947 version. It's pretty straightforward. So just do the bass run there. I'll show you the arpeggio too. Okay, so check it out with me nice and slow. 1, 2, 3 from the top. 2, 3, repeat. And that's it. That's the whole song. That's the riff. So now we can talk about the form. Are there any questions on that? The pull-offs, the hammer-ons, the articulation? I think that's very important. And it's nice to get that down. Let's try it a little bit faster. And again, if you're wondering, what chords does this go with? It's just all a C, static C chord. C7, whatever, C6, kind of bluesy. You know, it's just something on a C, C chord. But there's no rhythm. Everybody just does this together like minor swing. It's a unison riff or in octaves. Here we go, together. That was the whole thing through there, so I didn't stop. Hopefully you are with me on that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope you have it. And again, if you're like, oh, it's too easy, play it. Play, you know, just experiment, have fun. Try a harmony. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're off into a C blues, 12-bar blues chord progression there. and we'll talk about that. And that's about as fast as you need to take that melody, by the way. So it's a good little fun riff to practice. Okay, let's have some fun playing chords. This is a 12-bar blues form. I'm playing it up here on the 8th fret. You could do 4-note voicings. You could do 3 notes. 3 notes are the best for rhythm. Okay, that's C6. C7, measure 4. Then the F7 or F9 if you're doing 4 notes. Okay. So again, C6 for 3 bars. Turn that to dominant on measure 4 because that's what pulls you to the 4 chord. And then once you arrive to the 4, which is F, you could do F9, F7, F6. Again, I want you to kind of do what works best for you. But check out what I'm gonna do with these 3-note voicings. Okay, and now this is where Leslie had that question. From the C6 to get the bass line movement, I'm walking up to the 12th fret, that's 12, C/E. Then E flat dim to the D minor 7. And that's a chromatic bass line movement, very common. It's again, it's basically just C stuff. You can kind of think A7 as well if you want to make it a secondary dominant. But that E flat diminished 7th chord is just a passing chord to pull us into D minor chromatically above, not below, but from above. And that's the 3-note. And then G7. I didn't say G9 because there's no 9 on this 3-note voicing. And then back to C6 to the G7. I'm just demonstrating with 3-note voicings, 3-note shapes. Check it out. Top. Second ending, E7. And now we're at the C section here. I'm calling it the C section at least. It modulates to the key of A major. If you're wondering, A major from C major, that's the relative minor, which is A minor, parallel major key. There's a scheme to it, is what I'm saying. Any question where you have the 1 chord, in this case C/E, and then that diminished flat, it's a flat 3 in this case, dim, 2, 5, 2, 1. And my turnaround is just really simple, and that's what Django's doing too. They're not going 1, 6, 2, 5. They're not going 1, sharp 1, 2, 5. You can do that, of course, but that's adding more from the basic harmony, which is just 1, 5, meaning C6 to G7. Now, let me show you some 4-note shapes. For this, I'm going to do C6 like this. I call that the a la Django shape. I'm not wrapping my thumb around. So this is rootless. How I'm doing it. So that way I can get those 4 inner strings, the 5th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. And it's kind of this really tight sound. It's great for comping also. And then C7, you could just put your pinky over 1 fret. Okay, that's C6, C7, F9. I'm just going to stay on F9, back to the C6. And here I do want the bass line. So I'm going G9, C6, G9. C7, F9. G7, do long short, whatever articulation you want. And then now I took the second ending and put the E9, because that's going to pull us to A6. So there, I did this a la Django shape without the root, and you can go from A6 to E9 by just moving the two inner voicings there. Reverse them. So A6, E9, A6. Okay. Hopefully you have those, you know what I'm talking about. Anybody don't know what I'm talking about? The a la Django shape here? Just make sure you keep the 5th and the 2nd string down and just move those two inner notes and replace them. I don't know if you all can see that. A6 and E9. When I have the sound slice, I will have the chord grids up too. So if you want to just stick to 3-note shapes, if that's better for you, if you don't want to do the a la Django, I'm just demonstrating it here, what I like to do. Now let me talk about some other things you could do on the C section. You can do what I was talking about earlier, do the 3-note voicings. I'm even adding 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5. What's the 2 of A? B minor. So I'm going B minor 6 actually, and then E9. That's super easy because it's just a bass line movement. That's the only thing that changes. So I'm going on A6 for a full measure, B minor 6, E9. It's just a bass line. You could go B minor 7 to E9 if you wanted even more movement. Walk down to the G7 chromatically at the end of that phrase there. And of course G7 is the 5 of C. We got to get back to C somehow. You always put a 5 chord in front of the key that you want to go to. Okay. Sometimes I like to do 1, 6, 2, 5. Sometimes I'll do this. Notice I said 1, 6, 2, 5, but my bass note was sharp 1 diminished. I did this. Or I might do the sub. This is like rhythm changes. I might go 3, flat 3, 2, 5. And I'm thinking of it, hey, I'm just playing basic rhythm changes. 1, 6, 2, 5. Where on the chart it just says 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 5. So remember, I always say this when playing rhythm changes, you can simplify it to this 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 5. That's essentially what's happening. But check it out. And I didn't do the walk down. That A6, A flat 7, G7. You could just go to A, G, and then back to C6. Or I might go walk up the bass. Again, we can make it super complex, or we could just do it face value. When you listen to Django's recording, it's just face value. It's simple, simpler, just that. And then it goes back to the C section here. Oh, sorry. Oh shoot, hold on. I didn't put it there. I would label this here as a B section again. So it's like the B, C. This is just my own way of notating it for this. I haven't actually seen a chart of this, so I would call this the B here. And I'm calling the riff as an A. You might see the riff labeled as an intro and outro, kind of like minor swing, right? So maybe that would be the correct notation, okay? But just remember the riff, now I'm calling the A the riff. The A section or the riff is just played at the beginning and the end of the song, but not any time else. Unless you want to create your own arrangement, and then you could do it in between solos. That would be really hip, actually. I like that idea. Go back to the riff between solos, and then go into the solo. So be creative with it. But anyways, back to what Django does again, just solos on that blues, the 12-bar blues, 2 times through, and then go to the key of A, and that's an 8-bar bridge, they call it, and then back to the C blues. So that's really all that is, an A-B-A song form. They call it a blues with a bridge, by the way. That's the standard term, a blues with a bridge. Any questions on that at all? I'm not going to go over all those chords. That's all notated on my rhythm changes stuff. So I hope you know some rhythm changes, meaning 1, 6, 2, 5. But notice again, I wasn't going to the 6. I was going to the sharp 1 dim, because that's the easiest thing to do. And then we're back to the last A. And there I did a turnaround, this. So you can just mix and match these all you want. And that wasn't written, it just says C to G on the chart, but I went. Okay. You could do. And then we're off into some soloing ideas. We're gonna play along with Django right now, that's what we're doing. You're wondering. And again, 12-bar blues, C7, F. Ready? Key of A. And blues, C7, F. You can minor it there if you want. And top, clear. Minor there if you want. They didn't. And A again. C7, F. Minor. Ready? Key of A. And that's 1, 5. That's a C9. I'll talk about that second. That's it.